Hey everyone, Nick from Mossy Creek with this week's fly fishing forecast. Today is Monday, September 22nd. We got a little bit of rain this weekend. It was pretty isolated. Not everywhere got it. A lot of places still look the same, but we got some bumps in some of our water levels throughout the valley. Most of the rain that we got on Saturday night and kind of Saturday evening came kind of just south of us here at the shop. So kind of Highland County down into like Stanton and Waynesboro got a little bit more rain than we did. There's some places kind of east of the Blue Ridge that got an isolated shot as well. So not a widespread bump in water across the valley, but there's some places that did get some much needed rain. So, you know, here locally, kind of closer to us, there were a few mountain streams that got a little shot. Was definitely kind of on the lower side. So while we'll take it probably back to where we were last week, nothing real significant change in some of the mountain streams. Spring Creek's got a little flush, a little bump. And then the South Fork of the Shenandoah, same thing. Very small, still gonna be low and clear, but we got a little bump in the water levels. So at this point, we'll kind of take anything we can get. The good news is this week looks pretty good. We've got some 40–50% chances of rain or showers or thunderstorms pretty much each day this week. I don't know what it's going to amount to. I've seen some forecasts kind of on the upper end of like maybe 1 inch to 2 over the whole week. But if you know anything about the valley the last couple years, we could just as easily miss a lot of it. So we'll kind of wait and see what happens. The good news on that front though is like even if we don't get a lot of rain, we're gonna have some overcast, kind of cloudier days, drizzly days, even if it doesn't amount to a lot of precipitation. That's gonna help our fishing. So if you can get out this week, some of the best conditions that we've had in a little while, a little bit of breeze, but not too bad. So, you know, I would get out there and take advantage of it while you can. The mountain streams, like I said, not a huge change from last week. A lot of them are still gonna be pretty low. If you do some looking around, you may find some gauges that bumped a little bit from some of those isolated showers. You may find some streams in a little better shape. Your biggest drainages with moving water and big plunge pools and stuff are gonna be your best bet. Long leaders, light tippet, super stealthy approach. You know, just keep in mind when you come up to those big, huge sanctuary pools with a lot of fish, it might look like a really good thing, but you've got a lot of eyes on you. So in these conditions, you just really have to take your time. Slow down, make longer casts, make your presentation count, look for really subtle eats, and you can still find a little bit of fishing. So not ideal, probably wouldn't be my best recommendation unless you have just kind of a perfect little spot that's got some water. Spring Creeks are gonna be your better option as far as trout goes right now. Mossy's in really good shape. It's got a little bit of color to it. There's still a lot of grasshoppers, terrestrials are around. We're still even seeing some hecks coming off, so some good dry fly fishing is still possible. Fishing dry droppers, fishing, big hex patterns with a dropper, streamer fishing on those, overcast, cloudy, drizzly days like we talked about, and you should find some good stuff. Beaver's been fishing great. South River's fishing well. So those spring creeks are going to be pretty key. We're still a couple weeks out from the state stocking some water, so just keep that in mind. Some of those places that'll be online here before too long probably don't have much in them right now, so wait until you get some of those stocking announcements before you head out to those. On the warmer water rivers, so like South Fork of the Shenandoah, the North Fork, the Shenandoah, the James, fishing's been pretty good. It is still like low and clear, so pretty spooky conditions. The little bit of bump that we got over the weekend is gonna help, but it's probably not gonna lead to stained water. So still long leaders, being really careful with your casts, keeping in mind that a lot of those fish might be slowly transitioning to kind of their winter holes. So you'll tend to find them kind of stacked up a little bit tighter than they were a month or two ago. Keep that in mind, one, for finding them, but also it means you're gonna have a few more eyes on you. Take your time, be really stealthy, and it'll be worth it as far as the fishing goes. We got some reports today, some guys out on the water that the leaf hatch has been a little bit tough, so that's one thing to keep in mind as we go into the fall. Especially your windy days are going to tend to push a lot of the leaves into the river. We call it the leaf hatch. It can be a little bit tough just navigating, especially with fly line, and keeping leaves off of your fly and even a floating line when it lays out on top of the leaves, even if your fly is clear, sometimes you'll strip back up into the leaf and get it caught. So if you're able to pick and choose, just keep in mind those windier days, that's probably going to be a little bit tougher. But the fishing's still been good. It's technical. It can be spooky fish, taking your time, working a little bit harder, but we've also caught a lot of really nice fish the last few weeks. So these fish are gearing up. They need food for the winter and the fall as the season changes. So it's a great time, to catch a couple of those bigger fish. So bait fish patterns, top water still fishing pretty well. You can still fish, cork bugs and poppers and stuff like that. Crayfish patterns were really key last week, some hellgrammites, that type of stuff. So pretty typical most times of the year. Have your different levels of the water column covered so that you can adjust and kind of go with whatever is happening out there. With the low clear water, we've had some carp fishing, so keep an eye out for that. Crayfish patterns are great. If you see some carp tipped up and feeding, it can add some extra fun to your day out there. And with these cooler temps, the musky fishing is getting better and better, so something to keep in mind. Aside from the leaf hatch, the fall can be a really good time to do that. So looks like maybe another pattern change next week. Looks like things cool off a little bit. So hopefully in this next week here, we'll get those shots of rain. Looks like it could be really isolated. So, if we get anything substantial, we'll let you guys know. Keep an eye on the gauges, keep an eye on some of those statewide rain gauges to see where stuff's falling. And we'll just fingers crossed for more rain and more water going into the fall. So great time of year to be fishing, really comfortable, fun week ahead. Get out there if you can. As always, if you have questions or need anything, just give us a call or stop in. We'd be happy to help. We'll see you next week.